There is a courageous conversation I need to have, but I have feelings of anger and resentment towards the other person, and I can't seem to let that go. I don't think the conversation will be successful, and I'm not sure what I should do. Well, first, kudos to you for self reflecting and noting that there is a potential roadblock in the way of a successful conversation. Part of checking our motives includes reflecting on any negative feelings we may have and working to release those feelings to engage in a successful conversation. How can you get to a point of being open to try? We're going to offer that you work to give grace and also receive grace. It's not an easy task to extend grace to others who have upset or even hurt us, but here are some tips to get you there. First, practice empathy. Try to understand where the other person is coming from. Put yourself in their shoes and consider their perspective before passing judgment. Next, offer forgiveness. Holding on to grudges only weighs you down. Letting go of past wrongs and offering forgiveness can bring peace to both parties involved. Next, communicate constructively. If someone has hurt or offended you, express your feelings calmly and constructively. Avoid blaming or accusing language and focus on finding a resolution together. Next, set boundaries. While it's important to give grace, it's also important to set boundaries to protect yourself from being taken advantage of or hurt repeatedly. Next, lead by example. Remember, it starts with you as the leader, and in this work, all of us are leaders. Show grace through your actions and interactions with others. Your behavior can inspire those around you to also practice grace and kindness. Next, remember humanity. Recognize that everyone is imperfect and capable of making mistakes. Treat others with the same kindness and understanding that you would want for yourself. Next, practice self-reflection. You started off with this. Reflect on your own actions and behaviors regularly. By understanding yourself better, you can become more empathetic and compassionate towards others. Now, how do you receive this same grace for yourself? Receiving grace can sometimes be challenging, especially if you're accustomed to having difficulty accepting help or forgiveness. Here are some ways that you can receive grace. Be open. Remain open to receiving kindness, forgiveness, and support from others. Acknowledge that you're deserving of grace just like everyone else. Next, be vulnerable. Allow yourself to be vulnerable by admitting when you're struggling or when you need help. Vulnerability can create opportunities for deeper connections with others and pave the way for receiving grace. Next, learn from the experience. Use moments of receiving grace as opportunities for personal growth and reflection. Consider what you can learn from the experience and how you can apply those lessons to future interactions. Next, set pride aside. Pride can sometimes get in the way of receiving grace. It may feel uncomfortable to admit when we're wrong or when we need help. But if you practice setting aside your pride and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, that can also be a way to receive grace. And lastly, believe in your own worthiness. Remind yourself that you are worthy of grace, forgiveness, and kindness, regardless of any mistakes or any shortcomings you may have. Believe in your own inherent worthiness as a human being. Remember, courageous conversations take courage from both parties involved. Give yourself grace, give the other person grace, and see the difference this makes.